Step into the shadows of tomorrow, where dark mysteries unravel and the fragile line between reality and mind-bending fantasy completely shatters. We are the Surricate Squad, your guides through cinematic what-if scenarios that will make you question everything you thought you knew. Subscribe and stay with us if you dare to discover what lies beyond. It is the ultimate holy grail of the criminal mind, the perfect alibi. For centuries, detectives have operated on a fundamental law of physics. A physical object a human body cannot occupy to different spaces at the exact same time. But what happens when the evidence tells you that the laws of physics are wrong? On November 12th, the London Metropolitan Police found themselves staring at a paradox. They had a dead body. They had undeniable, irrefutable proof of the killer's identity. And they had 3,000 eyewitnesses who swore on their lives that the killer was 3,400 miles away. The alibi was flawless, but he was still guilty. The victim was Marcus Vance, the 42-year-old CEO of a breakthrough augmented reality firm. At 9:14 p.m., Marcus's private security alarm was triggered. Police arrived exactly 6 minutes later. The door was locked from the inside. When they breached the apartment, they found Marcus dead. This wasn't a professional hit. It was messy, personal, and the killer made mistakes, monumental mistakes. They left a partial bloody thumbprint on the door handle. They drank from a glass on the kitchen counter, leaving saliva for DNA analysis. Most damning of all, the private CCTV in Marcus's hallway captured the killer's face in high definition. The system ran facial recognition. The database returned a 99.8% match. The prints matched, the DNA matched. Elias Thorne? Unresolved. The system identified Elias Thorne. He was Marcus's former co-founder, ousted from the company a year prior in a bitter multi-million-dollar lawsuit. Motive? Check. Opportunity? The evidence screamed yes. Scotland Yard immediately dispatched a team to locate Thorne. They expected to find him hiding somewhere in London, washing the blood off his hands. Instead, they found him on YouTube. Thank you, New York. The future of our digital existence is here. Detectives watched in stunned silence. Elias Thorne wasn't in London. He was headlining a massive tech summit at the Javits Center in Manhattan. The timeline was impossible. The murder happened at exactly 9:14 p.m. London time. At that precise second, Elias was standing under the bright lights of a New York stage. Could it be a pre-recorded video? No, Elias interacted with the crowd. He answered a spontaneous question from a journalist in the front row. He reacted to a phone ringing in the audience. Could he have flown back? The fastest commercial flight takes 7 hours. Even a supersonic jet couldn't bridge the gap in time. Could it be an identical twin? Elias was an only child? Could the London evidence be planted? The fingerprint was etched in the victim's blood? The CCTV captured micro-expressions perfectly matching Elias. The press called it the quantum murder. Investigators were paralyzed. How do you arrest a man who has 3,000 witnesses proving his innocence? Detective Chief Inspector David Reed refused to believe in magic. If the physical evidence in London was real, then the alibi in New York had to be a lie. Reed locked himself in an editing suite and watched the 4-hour New York keynote on a loop, again and again. He wasn't looking for the big picture, he was looking for the pixels. At our 2:14, the exact time of the murder, he noticed something. Watch the stagehand in the background. Watch Elias's shadow. The stage lights are directly above, casting a harsh shadow straight down. But as the stagehand passes, his shadow briefly clips through Elias's leg. It's a fraction of a second. An anomaly so small, the human eye processes it and ignores it, but the camera didn't. Elias Thorne didn't break the laws of physics. He broke the limits of human perception. He wasn't in New York. He never left London. Elias's new company specialized in advanced volumetric telepresence. He used a proprietary system years ahead of what the public knew existed. He rented a heavily soundproofed warehouse just 2 miles away from the victim's apartment in London. Inside, he built a localized volumetric capture rig. He was broadcasting a flawless, three-dimensional, real-time holographic projection of himself to the stage in New York, transmitted via dedicated fiber optic lines to eliminate latency. But what about the interaction, the spontaneous questions? Elias gave the first hour of the keynote live from his warehouse rig. But at 8:45 p.m., he initiated an AI predictive model trained on thousands of hours of his own speeches, mannerisms, and voice data. For exactly 40 minutes, the Elias on stage in New York was entirely artificial, a pre-programmed, highly advanced deepfake interacting with the crowd through an earpiece monitored by an accomplice in the sound booth. This gave the real Elias a 40-minute window. He slipped out of the rig, drove across London, confronted Marcus, committed the murder, and drove back. He stepped back into the capture ring, disabled the AI, and finished the final hour of the presentation himself. A physical murder shielded by a digital ghost. When Scotland Yard raided the warehouse, the servers were still warm. Elias hadn't dismantled the rig. His ego wouldn't let him. He believed he had created a masterpiece. In court, his defense team tried to argue that the holographic technology was a fantasy, that the police were desperate, but the data logs don't lie. They found the exact time stamp when the human-to-AI handoff occurred. They also found Marcus's blood on the steering wheel of Elias's car. Elias Thorne was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. He thought he had created a foolproof paradox, a Schrödinger's alibi, where he was both innocent and guilty until observed. But in his arrogance, he forgot the most basic rule of violent crime: dark data. No matter how advanced the technology, no matter how brilliant the illusion, reality always leaves a footprint. Case files. You can project your image across the world at the speed of light, but you can't fake the blood on your hands. City secrets. Thanks for watching. If you want to dive deeper into cases where technology meets true crime, hit that subscribe button. Until next time, stay curious.